Hello, everybody. What's going on here? It is Sunday night. I know a lot of us are just hanging out, having a good time. Yes, give me 1 second here. I'm just getting a few things updated here. We are going to be talking about some Comic Con news that came out of the event, and then we're also going to be talking about Superman and the DCU as a whole, as well as a few other things. We are going to have some Star Wars news because they did have the Lucasfilm publishing panel at Comic Con this weekend. They also did have the Hasbro Star Wars panel, so we are going to talk about that, as well as we are going to talk about the Lucasfilm Pavilion from Comic Con. So there's a lot here. I also want to highlight before we get started. Actually, let's dive into the one piece of Star Wars news, and then we're gonna dive into all of the other great things here. I posted this in Discord a while ago, but the Emmy nominations are out, and Andor is up for 14 Emmy awards at this year's Emmys, including one being Outstanding Drama Series. Um, it did get a couple of nominations for acting, with Forrest Whitaker coming back as Saul Guerrera, and voice acting with Alan Tudyk playing K2SO. But those were the only acting nominations that the series got. Let's see here. So, Outstanding Drama Series is what it's nominated for. Outstanding Production Design for a Narrative, Period, or Fantasy Program, 1 hour or more. Outstanding Cinematography for a Series, 1 hour. Outstanding Fantasy and Sci-Fi Costumes. Outstanding Directing for a Drama Series. Outstanding Picture Editing for a Drama Series. Outstanding Music Composition for a Series. Outstanding Original Music and Lyrics. Outstanding Guest Actors in a Drama Series. Outstanding Character Voiceover Performance. That would be Alan Tudyk. Outstanding Sound Editing for a Comedy or a Drama Series. Outstanding Sound Mixing for a Comedy or a Drama Series. Outstanding Special Visual Effects in a Season or a Movie. And Outstanding Writing for a Drama Series. The Acolyte also got, let's see here, they also did get, they got a nomination here. Outstanding Sound Editing for a Comedy or a Drama Series. And then music by John Williams, which was the Disney Plus series, that got nominated for sound editing for a nonfiction or reality program, and sound mixing for a nonfiction program. So Star Wars is being represented at the Emmys upcoming this year, but I still wish that some of those actors got nominations, because Andor had incredible performances, and that's something that we should all continue to talk about, because those performances really did elevate that show. It was already elevated really well, but those performances really did elevate that show. So, um, yeah, those are your Emmy nominees. We have the Lucasfilm Pavilion was at San Diego Comic Con this year. I'm actually going to share this here from StarWars.com. As let's see here, where is it? I'm sorry, I'm trying to find this thing. Is it? Yes, there we go. Star Wars at San Diego Comic Con. Sorry about that, folks. So here it says Never Before Seen Art celebrates 20 years of Lucasfilm animation at San Diego Comic Con. And as you can see here, we have a image from Maul Shadow Lord here. Now, keep in mind, this image that's from Maul Shadow Lord was also the promo material that we got at Star Wars Celebration. So this image here is not new. It might be new to some people, but this image has been circulating for a while. Um, but they did show that. We also have our first look at Ezra Bridger in Ahsoka season 2. As you can see here, he's got the scars and everything. And I love the jacket. I really love the jacket. So we will see here how this goes. Season 2 has a lot of big shoes to fill. I'm gonna say this right now. I enjoyed season 1 for the most part, but there were a lot of things that happened in season 1 that I just was not really um that I wasn't really happy with. I feel like some of the directions that they went with some of the story choices and everything, just I just didn't really care for it that much. Like I said, I still enjoyed the first season. I thought that it was still a lot of fun. Um, I'm excited for Star Wars in 2026 as well, especially with the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Um, so we'll see how this goes, but yeah, I like the image. I'm excited to see what happens, and I can't wait to see more. Let's see here. So yeah, we are going to. Sorry, that was a little loud. This is the Lucasfilm booth. You can see like Cad Bane's hat here. We've got X-wings, and then the Fireball from Resistance, the Colossus from Resistance. Resistance character models. We've got some Rebels stuff here as well. More Rebels and Clone Wars. So yeah, this was a pretty cool booth. And I think it's really cool that they highlighted stuff like the Bad Batch and the Tales of series, and we have that image from Maul Shadow Lord. I thought that was really cool and really well done. We have a gallery here, that way you all can see this as well. I'm actually going to go full screen on this real quick, because I think that you all should see this for what it is here. Um, so you can see Lucasfilm Limited. You see Clone Wars over. You see Clone Wars here, Rebels, Resistance, Bad Batch, and Tales of, and then Maul. Let's see here. Yeah, so we've got some Bad Batch stuff here. As you can see, there's a cast and crew jacket. There's a Lola plush here as well. There's a Hunter's helmet statue. And then we've got the toy that Omega made, um, and I like it. I think it's really cool. I think it's cool to see these props. It's cool to see these designs from these things, um, especially in live action. And now we have yeah. So now we have some more stuff here with Cad Bane and his hat. There's the prosthetic there from Book of Boba Fett. And then we also have the blasters here, which I think is really cool that Book of Boba Fett got some love. Once again, that's a show I really enjoy. However, there's some decisions in that show that I'm not really a fan of. So um, here's the Colossus from Resistance, which Star Wars Resistance is a fantastic show, and it deserves more love than what it's gotten in the past. But that's just how I feel about it, because I don't know. I just think that Resistance is just a really really cool show. So, and it's cool to see the Colossus like in the water. Here we have a Resistance X-wing. This is the New Republic X-wing right here. And then we have the Fireball, which is what Kaz pilots throughout the show. and it's really cool to see the fireball in all of its glory. It's actually one of my favorite Star Wars fighter craft, um, which I think is, yeah. So I'm happy to see it there, and the detail is really really nice. It's hard to like look at some of the detail here because of some stuff gets distorted through internet imagery and everything. Here we have the Resistance character models. So you can see Kaz here, his buddy Neku, um, yeah, the Dozas, Leia, because she was a major part of that show, and I love it. I love seeing those character models. The Fireball is pretty sick. Here we have Bo Katan, her helmet, we have her blasters, and then we have Anakin's lightsaber. Because we all know Anakin did not kill somebody during that Mandalorian arc in Clone Wars. I just love it. It's so cool to see that helmet in live action. It's just so cool to see that. Here we have Clone Wars character pieces as well as Rebels character pieces because you can see we have Ezra and Chopper here. We have Hera and Kanan, as well as Sabine and Zeb. We have Palpatine here, Count Dooku, the Grand Inquisitor, Vader, Padme, and the Geonosian Queen. It's just really nice to see these character models as well. Well, it's over. Comic Con just ended. But yeah, I wish I could have been there too. Here we have Oppo and Adigalia. So this is from the Tales of series as well as Clone Wars, which I think it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. You can see Cad Bane going from animated to live action, Hera the same way, Bo Katan. It's neat to see them take the animated stills with their live action stills, and then this is something by Dave Filoni, I think, like it was like an introduction or something. And you can see the Clone Wars concept art as well as stills from the show. And I love the paneling at this booth as well, like uh because it looks like you're on a Star Cruiser from Star Wars. We have Rebels, the pilot Hera, we've got concept art here, the Mon Mothma episode, Ahsoka versus Vader. Just awesome moments from Rebels. Let's see here. Resistance, you've got you've got some of the still shots here. The logo, I love that logo so much because you've got the fireball right here. You have more concept art, like planetary concept art, First Order, Kaz over here. Bad Batch, you've got Omega and Chopper, more concept art. This episode here with Crosshair and that lieutenant broke my heart, just absolutely broke my heart, but it was so good. And this Bad Batch logo is just fantastic. Like I love that logo so much. And now we have the Tales of, which we just had Tales of the Underworld come out this year, which is actually my favorite of these three. Because I loved the Cad Bane story and I love the Ventress story. And you can see here Ventress waking up in with the Night Sister magic. And then we have the one piece of concept art from Maul Shadow Lord. Well, I shouldn't say concept art, but it was in the trailer for Maul Shadow Lord that we got at Star Wars Celebration. So yeah, I think it's really neat that we got those. And yeah, Lucasfilm had a presence at Comic Con. And now we're going to be talking about the Lucasfilm Publishing panel, which Mike Siglain read. Which fun fact about Mike Siglain, I did not know he worked for DC for a while until I was reading a Batwoman story and saw he was involved in Detective Comics, which I think is really cool. So there's 10 highlights here from the Lucasfilm Publishing panel. I'm not going to show you them right now. Well, maybe if I see something cool. So the High Republic finale is happening in just a few days. That's going to be hitting in just a few days. This is the final story in the High Republic for now, but and Kevin Scott is writing that with art by Marika Cresta. And the cover is supplied by Phil Noto, which Phil Noto's artwork in Star Wars is second to none. I just love Phil Noto's art anyway, and it's just beautiful. So really looking forward to that finale. I still need to finish Trials of the Jedi. I'm still not that far into it because I've just been doing a bunch of other things. So you'll have to forgive me for that. And then we do have a release date for Art of the High Republic Volume 2. That's going to be August 19th. That's the Kristen Baver book, which the first one is great. There are here's another cool thing. We are getting a High Republic Adventures, or not High Republic Adventures, Young Jedi Adventures comic that is coming in December. It's called Star Wars Young Jedi Adventures, the training sessions. Daniel Jose Alder is going to be helping write this. And it says it follows Jedi younglings Kai Brightstar, Liz, and Nubs with a special appearance by gentle giant Baryaga as they set off on missions across the galaxy to learn the ways of the Force, pick up training sessions on December 9th. The Art of the Acolytes is going to be hitting January 13th, 2026, which is from Kristen Baver as well. If you are a fan of Kevin Scott's work, here we go. This here is Tales from the Nightlands. This is a brand new Star Wars horror anthology series that Kevin Scott is doing with Sue Lee. I'm loving these covers here. Like this is the cover to issue 2. You've got Vader, Luke, Leia. Issue 3, you've got Finn here, which I think is really cool, and it's nice to see sequel trilogy stuff. Here's some of the interior art from issue number 1. I love this art. I absolutely love this art because it's kind of anime style, but at the same time, not really. So I'm really digging this art. Like this Force Ghost. Oh my gosh, how cool is that? How cool is this? Excuse me. So yes, this is Tales from the Nightlands, and this is Kevin Scott's new Star Wars horror anthology series. Here is the Hyperspace Stories Grievous graphic novel that is coming. That is going to be coming out in 2026. Also, we are going to be getting another Hyperspace Stories comic series called Tides of Terror, which will star Kit Fisto. And that actually, the first issue of that is this week coming up. So get ready for that. There's an ILM 50th anniversary book that will be coming early next year. And then we've got more of The Mandalorian and Grogu. We're getting a visual guide, which we'll take a look at seasons 1 through 3. DK Books is going to be publishing that. And then we get a children's book called "You're My Little Grogu" from author Grace Baranowski and artist Kaylee McCabe. I swear I talk well sometimes, but I guess not tonight. And then Bad Batch is coming back for another mini series. This time it's Bad Batch Rogue Agents, written by Michael Moretti. And this will be in stores in December. So definitely start setting up your comic book boxes now at your local comic book shops. Get those pull lists ready because I'm actually going to be talking about LCSs quite a bit tonight. So we're going to talk about how to find your local comic shop, all that stuff too. So just stay tuned for that. But yes, Bad Batch Rogue Agents is coming, and I love this cover. I love this cover with the Rancor. Um, love this cover here with the 99 in the background. Yes, hey Tyler. So yes, really looking forward to Bad Batch Rogue Agents. This is going to be a really fun book. This is going to be an absolutely fun book. And then we have even more comics right now. So you have Afra Chaos Agent going on right now. I believe issue 2 just dropped. Legacy of Vader is continuing to go on. I have not read that in a while, but it is a fantastic book if you have not read it. It is a Kylo Ren book. And then Jedi Knights continues to deliver month after month. A lot of people really enjoy that Jedi Knights series. And then here's the best part. Outlaws fans, Star Wars Outlaws fans, I hope that you are here because we are getting a prequel to Outlaws. This is called Low Red Moon. This is being written by Mike Chen, who wrote Brotherhood. And this is about Jalen Vrax and ND5. This comes out February 3rd. And I am so excited for this book. I love Star Wars Outlaws. A lot of you know how much I love Star Wars Outlaws. So it's really cool to see us getting a book with Jalen and ND5. And I can't wait to see more about Jalen's past, especially with his ties and his connections to the villain in the story. I'm not going to spoil anything because if you have not played Outlaws yet, please do yourself a favor and play Outlaws because it's a fantastic game. I just wish that it had gotten more love. So let's go back here real quick, and then I'm going to um, share another thing. We have the Hasbro panel. Yes, so we had the Hasbro panel this weekend at San Diego Comic-Con. We've got a lot of Comic-Con news to cover, so that's why I'm kind of going through the Star Wars ones real quick because there's a lot of other amazing things that are coming out of Comic-Con. And I can't wait for you guys to see this. Let me just I just got to look up one other publisher here real quick. Because there is some really, really cool stuff out of here. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. Cool, cool, cool. Yes. All right. So we have some really cool Comic-Con news coming out of one of my favorite publishers. And we're going to get to that here in a little bit. But first, let's talk about Hasbro. And yes, there we go. So this has begun the Clone Wars have with Hasbro's San Diego Comic-Con HasLab announcement. And we are going to get to that here in just a second. We have a Black Series set coming out. This is going to be Obi-Wan versus Anakin on Mustafar. Uh, and it comes with the droid. And I love here in the bottom it says figure does not fly, meaning the droid, which I think is just what a what a great way. What a great disclaimer for this thing. Figure does not fly. But I love the sculpt on this. The platform is really cool. I love the lava and everything. I really wish that we had gotten like a blue like a blue glow here from the shielding on the platform, like being above the lava river, and I would have loved to have seen a little bit of the blue glow here under the droid. However, it's this is a really cool figure set. Yeah, that there's that one. We have Mace Windu versus Palpatine here, or I should say Sidious. I love that they are going with cloth robes now for their Black Series figures. Because for a while there, they had like plastic robes and stuff, and it just wasn't. To me, it just kind of like took the joy out of some collecting. And especially if you're a toy photographer and you're looking at doing poses like this, you want to have as much detail in the shot as possible. And that's why I'm happy that we're getting the cloth robes here. So there's that one. It looks like we're getting a bunch of duels because here's Luke versus Vader in Empire. As you can see, more of the cloth cape from Vader, and I love this Luke figure. The detail on the eye is great, and I love that you can actually have the clash, the clashing here on the blades of the sabers. So, and it comes with looks like it actually comes with the platform that they're on Cloud City. We have Anakin and Rex coming next from Clone Wars. I mean, what more can I say? It's Anakin and Rex. Like you need this in your collection, especially if you collect clone troopers. And I love the blasters. They have his holsters and everything. What Black Series has done, they've done a really good job at like creating like the holsters and stuff like that. Yeah, these prices. So these figure prices here, normally 2 packs will run you anywhere from 30 to 40 for basic 2 pack, and then sometimes it'll run you higher depending on the run, depending on the amount that's in the 2 pack and everything. But this is probably a $40 pack, considering most Black Series figures are roughly 20 to 25. I know the Kelnaka from the Acolyte is sitting around 30. And then the Wrecker from Bad Batch season 1 was around 30 as well. So this is probably around 40 because you do have the 2 figures, maybe 45. Um, yeah, here we go. Now we have Bounty Hunters. So we have a Jango Fett coming, which I'm all for Jango Fett, more Jango Fett when it comes to Star Wars figures. Oh, really? Oh man, I had pre-ordered both of them individually, and Anakin just came in like, "Oh, dude, that sucks. That sucks, dude." Maybe you can talk to Hasbro. They might be able to swap it. And then we have the Ventress here, and you can see she still has her old school sabers, so she has not. And by old school, I mean her red kyber crystals. So she does not have the yellow crystal yet. But I love the details in all of these. I'm always down for more Jango Fett because I think he's just such a great character. The Stranger from the Acolyte is coming. Yes, we are getting the Stranger. Now, I'm going to say this real quick. He has cloth pants, which is fine. However, if you look at his tabard here, it is not cloth, it's plastic. And I feel like they should have just went all cloth on him. Now, you could have easily made the plants the pants plastic. Like that to me would have been great. I think that it would have been I think it would have been pretty nice if they had done that. So who knows? But here we are. But the stranger has a little lightsaber here, and then he's got his main lightsaber. He has the Cortosis arm brace, and then of course the Cortosis helmet. And I love the look of the figure. I think it's really cool, and wish the Acolyte got more love. Vintage collection. So we're getting Han and Chewie vintage collection. If you do not know what vintage collection is, this is Hasbro's 3 3/4 inch line of figures. So they are smaller figures. They have multiple points of articulation. Excuse me, my throat's acting up tonight. Um, Multiple points of articulation, so you can pose them and everything. And of course, we get Han Solo and Chewbacca. Um, that's kind of a staple when it comes to vintage collection. uh, this one I think is really cool. So this is the Return of the Jedi Vintage Collection figure pack. This is the Jedi Spirits pack. So you get Obi-Wan, you get Yoda, and then you get Anakin Skywalker, and you can actually swap out the heads. So you can make him young Anakin, which is what we currently have. If you watch the movie on Disney Plus, or like on Blu-ray or what have you, you currently see that it's young Anakin, but they do give you the option of the older Anakin that was like in the original cut of Return of the Jedi, as well as the original special editions of Return of the Jedi. Yeah, Black Series is everywhere. Ollie's actually has really good deals on Black Series figures. I know I was there the other week, and I almost picked up a few Black Series that I wanted, but um, I can't remember what we were doing, but I was just like, yeah, I can pick it up another time. But yeah, Ollie's has really good Black Series deals, and at conventions you're going to see tons of Black Series from various retailers and everything. The problem with conventions and buying Black Series at conventions is sometimes they really, I mean, you're going to get upcharges regardless, because they have to make the money back for their booth space or their table space, and that I totally understand, because when it comes to conventions and vending at conventions, you do have to pay for the space, right? Because that's just something that you need to do. So of course you need to have a little bit of a markup when it comes to Black Series or vintage collection figures. Some of them mark up a little too high for my taste, but some of the markups are actually well within reason, though. So you just got to pick and choose, like when it comes to like Black Series and vintage collection. But if you are looking for Black Series, Ollie's is very, very good. Um, yeah, the vintage figures, yeah. And you can see the Kenner logo here too, because Hasbro did buy Kenner. So that's why you get the Kenner logo here. But I love the set. I absolutely do. I think it's great. Um, we are getting yeah, so we're getting a shock trooper here, an Imperial shock trooper, which I love this figure as well. The red and the white armor is perfect, and you can't go wrong with that. And here's the big reveal. So Hasbro does these vehicles, these HasLab vehicles, that you have to back in order to actually get this vehicle. And this is normally a limited run that they do. And these vehicles run usually about $300 because they're limited runs. So we are getting a Republic gunship. And I'm really excited about this. Am I going to back this? No, no, I'm not. Do I want this? Absolutely. But am I going to back this? No. Because that's $300 that can that's $300. That's a lot of money, especially with the prices going up and all of these other things, bills and all that stuff. Um, yeah, but if you do back this, awesome. I want to see it when it comes in. Like I would love to see if anybody does back this, I would love to see the final product. Show it to me in an unboxing or what have you. So I think it's really cool. I love the detail in the gunship. There's one thing I really love from this, because this is a Clone Wars gunship, right? I'd love to have some markings like on the side of the gunship, like we got in the Clone Wars cartoon. Um, because it was just really cool to see like the markings on the gunships and everything. Like, you know how like in World War II, like they had like the bombers or what have you would have like a name and then like some sort of like art or something like on the nose of the bomber. In Clone Wars, they did the same thing, and I would love to see that on these gunships. I believe they actually did it in the Micro Galaxy Squadron line from Jazzwares. And as you can see here, it comes with two clone pilots. The cockpit is removable. Um, it does come with a stand, and then you can also put clones in the turrets here as well. So yeah, um, yeah, you can back the gunship from now until September, and they are aiming for a fall 2026 release. So we will see. It also will come with um Jedi Council members as well if you back at certain tiers and everything. So yeah, that's pretty much your Star Wars news right now. Um Lucas was at Comic-Con today unveiling his new George Lucas Museum that is coming to Chicago, which I think is really cool. I did not really see a lot of news out of that, and I apologize. But yes, the George Lucas Museum is coming to Chicago. It will have like shops and a restaurant, and it'll have like screening rooms and all this other stuff. And it's just a wonderful um, it's just a wonderful tribute to um, to Lucas, and to filmmaking. So let's see here. We're going to talk about some entertainment stuff real quick when it comes to Comic Con, and then we're going to dive right into comics because that to me is like I love all the news and everything from Comic Con. Like I love the entertainment news, but for me it's the comics, right? Because like comics because without comics you wouldn't have Comic-Con or Superman or all of that other stuff. And by Superman I mean the movie. Um so let's see here. So one of the interesting things here is so Marvel Comics was at San Diego Comic-Con. However, Marvel Studios was not at San Diego Comic-Con. Fantastic Four First Steps did release this weekend. And I have not seen it yet. I'm probably not going to see it for a while because I just have a lot of other things going on right now. And while it looks good, that's also a movie that I just kind of just want to watch on my couch, you know, and if I don't like it, like I can always just turn it off. And I don't think I'm not going to like it, but I don't know. I don't know. So, but I think it was a huge missed. Yeah, but I loved Thunderbolts. I loved Thunderbolts, and I actually really enjoyed Brave New World. I thought that they were both really good movies. Thunderbolts, I think, is hands down better than Brave New World, but it was still, but Brave New World is still a lot of fun. But I loved Thunderbolts. But I really feel like Marvel Studios missed out on a huge opportunity here, where they could have been promoting Wonder Man because that's the next project that they have coming out with Marvel Television. They could have been promoting Wonder Man. They could have been promoting the Eyes of Wakanda anthology series that's hitting Disney Plus in at the beginning of August, which is a four episode animated anthology series. They could have been promoting that. they could have been doing a lot of different things to promote these upcoming projects, and I just feel like they just kind of dropped the ball here. You could be pushing Thunderbolt's home release. You could be pushing the Captain America home release, especially with it now being on Disney Plus. You could be talking about those things, promoting those things, getting more people that might have missed it in the theaters when it was in theaters to check it out on Disney Plus or what have you. I don't know when Thunderbolts is hitting Disney Plus, but I have a feeling it's probably soon. But you had those opportunities, and I feel like they dropped the ball there. And it's okay. It to me that's okay, because it also let a lot of comics shine. Like a lot of comic book news was able to get out of this because if you think about San Diego Comic Con, when there are big tentpole movies that are being promoted and everything, a lot of people go for the celebrities, a lot of people go for the movie news, television news, and that's fine. That's fine. But for comic book fans, they still have those panels, they still have all of those things and those presents, the comic book presence is huge at Comic-Con. However, a lot of that does get overshadowed by the big tentpole releases or the big television shows and all of that. And it's a little bit tough. So to see Comic-Con scale back just a little bit and allow the comics to breathe was really cool. So while Marvel Studios wasn't there, DC Studios was there along with DC Comics, and we did get a new trailer to season 2 of Peacemaker, which is going to be diving into the multiverse. I did share the trailer in our Discord and I've shared it on social media. I'm not going to show it here because I don't want us to get struck down due to copyright or what have you. But it looks fantastic. I can't wait for it. Peacemaker was one of my favorite things to come out of the DCEU, along with James Gunn's Suicide Squad movie. And to have Peacemaker season 2 hit in August and to see all of the love and the promotion for that show was just really cool. And I know I'm contradicting myself because I just talked about how a lot of these things overshadow like publishing and all this stuff, but this I'm really excited for, especially right off of the heels of Superman. They have confirmed that this show, this season of Peacemaker takes place 1 month after the events of Superman, and it has like Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl are in this season, um, as well as Rick Flag Sr. And we'll get into the DCU here in a little bit because I want to talk about Superman and the DCU, so we'll get there. But yes, Peacemaker season 2 hits August 21st. One of the one of the coolest things they did was at San Diego Comic Con, they have offsite activations and everything. And so they had a Peacemaker offsite activation and it was called Peace Fest. And they actually had live music and all of this other stuff. They were giving away like Peacemaker, like plastic Peacemaker helmets that you could like put on like a Halloween mask. And it was just really cool. I really wish that I could have gone to San Diego. Because I think I would have spent a lot of time there. James Gunn was actually at Peace Fest last night. Um, uh, they played the theme. They didn't. I didn't see anybody dance to the theme, but they played the theme. And then apparently James Gunn has said there's a brand new theme this year with a brand new dance. So we'll see. Speaking of, so we'll continue on with the um, entertainment news here real quick, and then we'll dive into some more comic book stuff. Avatar: Last Airbender spinoff called Avatar: Seven Havens. Uh, they just unveiled a piece of concept art. Um, let me just share this real quick here. That way you can all see this. So yes, this is the new concept art from the brand new Avatar series that's going to be hitting. I don't really know anything about this other than it's a sequel series, and I believe this is bridging the gap between. Oh no, this is after Korra, I believe. I believe this is after Korra. So we'll see what happens. But yes, let's see here. 30 years of Gundam Wing. God, I feel old. But yeah, Gundam Wing, they did a 30th anniversary little vignette, which looks really cool. New DC animated project was announced, and they showed the trailer. It's called Batman, or it's called Aztec Batman Clash of Empires. And it's pretty much, hey, Batman's in ancient Aztec times, and yeah, it's really interesting. Um, let's see here. Oh, we have information for the Critical Role animated series, The Mighty Nine, which is premiering in November, and that is going to be on Prime Video. And yeah, they showed like a little clip and everything from it. If you are a fan of Predator, they released that anthology film just a little while ago called Killer of Killers. They actually added Arnold Schwarzenegger's character of Dutch from the original Predator film. He is at the end of the movie, apparently. Yeah. um, whew. Here's there's a new Gen V trailer. Gen V's The Boys spinoff, which I'll check it out. I think The Boys is an entertaining show, but honestly, I'm really tired of dark comic book dramas, and I read the original comic, and it was really really dark. So yeah, Gen V season 2 will be this year. Um, Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, which has been greenlit for a fifth and final season. Season 4 will be coming next year, supposedly, in which we are going to be getting an all puppet episode of Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, as well as Star Trek: Starfleet Academy is going to be hitting next year. Let's see here. We're getting a Rick and Morty spinoff, which stars President Curtis. There's a new season of Daryl Dixon if you're a Walking Dead fan. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is going to be coming. Now let's get to some comic news here. So, Marvel is doing. So, Marvel has the publishing rights to Predator and Alien comics. And over the last few years, we've had like Predator versus Wolverine, like Alien versus Avengers. Well, now we're getting Alien versus Captain America, written by Frank Thierry, which I am, honestly, I think I would read that book. I think I'm going to read that book. Um, it's. Let me see if I can pull up. Yeah, I can pull up the cover. Come on, there we go. Here, I'll show you the cover to this thing. I'll show you the cover to this. So this is the cover to Alien versus Captain America, and apparently this takes place in World War II. Um, so you we'll 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 see what happens. Um, I love wacky stuff like this. I absolutely love wacky stuff like this. Um, Let me see here. I'll show you. I'll show you another announcement that was made. If you are a fan of Ninja Turtles and Godzilla, oh man, is this the series for you? IDW has announced that they are doing Turtles versus Godzilla. Yep, we're getting Ninja Turtles versus Godzilla, and honestly, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I think it looks fantastic, and I can't honestly I cannot wait. I cannot wait for this book. It looks great. You know, I mean, this is just the cover, but it looks great. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Godzilla getting a lot of love. That's true. All right, let's see here. Let's see here. Looking at some other things here. Oh, so before I get to more comic news, we gotta talk about this. So, South Park came to Comic Con, and uh, yeah, South Park came to Comic Con, and they had a panel about the history of the show, and of course season 27 and everything. And let's just say that season 27 premiere was legendary, to say the least. That that show, that episode was legendary. So yeah, so right after that premiere, the White House um put out a statement saying that they were very, very upset and everything, and how South Park is like this fourth rate show and nobody watches it. And like you could just tell like the White House was very, very upset. And so one person asked Trey Parker and Matt Stone about the response from the White House. And Trey Parker just says, "We're just so terribly sorry." Like deadpan just said, "We're so terribly sorry." I love it. That episode was just amazing, and it was just so oh god, it was so great. All right, let's see here. Um Excuse me real quick. Okay, so Marvel has announced we've had the Ultimate Universe back for a little bit now in Marvel Comics, and so we are getting a brand new Marvel Ultimate comic universe um, event called Marvel Ultimate Endgame. This is going to be pretty much the Avengers Endgame for the Ultimate Universe when it comes to Marvel Comics, um, and I'm looking forward to that one actually. Let's see here. So we're going to be talking about, yeah, let's talk about the Eisner Awards real quick. This is pretty much the award ceremony for comic book creators, writers, artists, inkers, letterers, all of that. So let's see here. It looks like Absolute Wonder Woman. Yeah, yeah, the Ultimate Universe is great. So, Absolute Wonder Woman took home a lot of awards. If you're unfamiliar, the DC Absolute line has been killing it. This is DC's version of the Ultimate Universe, and it's been fantastic. All Absolute Superman, Absolute Wonder Woman, Absolute Batman. um I have not read Absolute Flash yet, but I've read some of Absolute Green Lantern on the DC Universe app, and then I've read and I have not read Absolute Martian Manhunter. But the Absolute stuff is just, oh man, so good, so good. So let's see here. Best short story. So we're going to go through some of these categories. I'll tell you who the winners are and everything. So best short story for the Eisner comics was Spaces by Phil Jimenez from DC Pride 24 number 1, which is a one shot. Um, Best single issue one shot was called The War on Gaza by Joe Sacco from Fantagraphics Publishing, which I think is, oh, that's just awesome that that people have brought that people have brought more to that ongoing crisis in Gaza. um, and I think it's fantastic that they are, you know, that they're covering this, because if you look at comics in general has always been a um, excuse me real quick, comics in general have always been a social commentary on our society. um, and you know, they've tackled a lot of things, like right after 9/11. All of the publishers did stories based on 9/11, and like DC and Marvel did a lot of did a one shot in which they each did one shots in which how that event affected the heroes of those various universes, and how they really highlighted the first responders, and how those first responders were, you know, were heroes. You know, they're the true heroes. So I think it's great that we've gotten single issues and one shots. Um and this one, I think that's fantastic. Best continuing series is one called The Santos Sisters by Greg and Fake, Graham Smith, Dave Landsberger, and that's from Floating World Publishing. Best limited series was Zatanna Bringing Down the House by Mariko Tamaki and Javier Rodriguez from DC Comics. There was another DC book that was nominated for Best Limited Series, and that was Alan Scott the Green Lantern by Tim Sheridan and Cyan Torme. And let me tell you something, if you've not read Alan Scott the Green Lantern, you should. It's fantastic. And they do so much with retelling his story. And they talk about they talk about his personal life, all of this stuff, and how he's it takes place in the 30s and 40s, and it talks about how he struggles with his sexual identity, you know, with being gay, and how you know, society does not, you know, society at that in that time period looked down upon that, and you know, was not accepting and everything. So Alan Scott the Green Lantern, definitely check that out. But the winner for best limited series was Zatanna Bringing Down the House, or Bring Down the House. I still need to check that out. I love Zatanna. I think she's a fantastic hero. Best new series, Absolute Wonder Woman by Kelly Thompson and Hayden Sherman. That did win. Absolute Batman was also nominated. Um, yeah, you had some. If Leah's in here, The Pedestrian by Magma Comics was nominated. I know Leah is a huge Magma Comics fan. Best publication for early readers was Hilda and Twig Hide from the Rain by Luke Pearson, published by Flying Eye. Best publication for kids, the winner for that was Plain Jane and the Mermaid by Vera Brosgall, by First, Second, and Macmillan. Best publication for teens was Lunar New Year Love Story by Jean Luen Yang and Leeuwen Pham, First, Second, Macmillan Publishing. Best humor publication was Processing 100 Comics That Got Me Through It by Tara Booth. Drawn and Quarterly was the publisher. Best anthology series was Godzilla's 70th Anniversary, edited by Jake Williams and others, published by IDW, which IDW has the Godzilla publishing rights, and they do a fantastic job with Godzilla. Best reality based work was called Suffrage Song The Haunted History of Gender, Race, and Voting Rights in the U.S. by Caitlin Cass. And Fantagraphics, once again, taking the win with that. Um, yeah, I need to check that out. I think that sounds just fantastic. Best graphic memoir was Feeding Ghosts, a graphic memoir by Tessa Halls by MCD, Farrar, Straus, and Giroux Publishing. Best graphic album, which I'm not really sure what a graphic album is. Tyler, if you're still here and you can let me know what a graphic album is, uh, I guess that's graphic novel. That's Lunar New Year Love Story. That one. Best graphic album reprint was an Image. Yeah, I'm thinking. Yeah, these are graphic novels. These are graphic novels. Um, Image took this one with The One Hand and the Six Fingers by Ram V, Dan Waters, Lawrence Campbell, and Sumit Kumar. Let's see here. Yeah. Best adaptation from another medium is The Road by Cormac McCarthy, adapted by Manu Larcent, and that was Abrams Publishing. Best U.S. edition of international material was a book called The Jellyfish by Bohm, translated by Robin Lang, and Helga Dasher by Pow Pow Press. Best U.S. edition of international material went to Tokyo These Days, volumes 1 through 3 by Taiyo Matsumoto, translated by Michael Aris, and that was Viz Media. Love that manga is getting into the Eisners as well. Like, I think that's fantastic. Um, manga is such a great way of storytelling. And I love reading manga. Best archival collection slash project for comic strips. This is Thorn, the Complete Proto Bone Strips from 1982 to 1986, and other early drawings by Jeff Smith. Jeff Smith is created Bone, which is like one of the most celebrated comic strips of all time. Best archival collection project for comic books. This went to David Mazzucchelli's Batman Year One Artist Edition by Frank Miller and David Mazzucchelli, and IDW published that, which I think is really cool. Other ones in that category, one other in that category was X-Men the manga remastered from Viz Media, which I think is awesome. I've taken a look at that X-Men manga. I still need to pick it up, but from what I've taken a look at it, it's really cool. I love it. Best comics related periodical slash journalism. The winner for that was The Beat, edited by Heidi McDonald and others. Best comics related book. That went to Tell Me a Story Where the Bad Girl Wins. The Life and Art of Barbara Charmond by Caitlin McGurk by Fantagraphics. Best academic and scholarly work. Drawing in the feminine bande dessinée and women, edited by Margaret C. Flynn from Ohio State University Press. Best publication design went to David Mazzucchelli's Batman Year One Artist Edition, designed by Chip Kidd, which was once again published by IDW. Scott Pilgrim 20th Anniversary Color Hardcover Box Set was also nominated in that category, along with Brian Boland, Batman the Killing Joke, and Other Stories, and Art Gallery Edition. Best digital comic went to Kodansha Comics, and that was called My Journey to Her by Yuna Hirasawa. Best webcomic went to Life After Life by Joshua Barkman. Best writer went to Jean Lewin Yang for Lunar New Year Love Story. In that category, you also had Tom King, Ram V, Kelly Thompson, and James Tynan the fourth, which you all know me. I love me some James Tynan. especially when it comes to something is killing the children, which, yeah. Best writer slash artist went to Charles Burns, um, who's done a lot of independent through Fantagraphics, Pantheon, and Partners and Son. Best penciler slash inker or penciler inker team went to Bilquis Evely, Helen of, and the book was Helen of Windhorn from Dark Horse. Nick Dragotta was also nominated for Absolute Batman. Javier Rodriguez nominated for Zatanna, Bring Down the House. Um, Best painter, multimedia artist went to Eduardo Rizzo for Blood Brothers Mother from Distillery. Um, yeah, best cover artist. Whew, this was interesting. Best cover artist went to Tola Lotte for Helen of Windhorn #1, Count Crawley, Mediocre Midnight Monster Hunter #3. Now I need to check that out. Dawn Runner #1, Barnstormers trade paperback, and many others, including an image book. Um, Best coloring went to Jordi Belair for Absolute Wonder Woman, Birds of Prey, John Constantine Hellblazer, Dead in America, The Nice House by the Sea, The City Beneath Her Feet, as well as G.I. Joe Duke from G.I. Joe and Duke from Image. Best lettering went to Clayton Cowles for Animal Pound, as well as Absolute Batman and Robin Year One, Birds of Prey, Jenny Sparks, and Wonder Woman. And those are your Eisner winners, which I think is just really cool. Comics are incredible, right? Like if you look at comic books, and I'm really happy that we're gonna start talking about comics here because this to me is because this is also going to take us over to our DC conversation with Superman and the DCU and all of that. But with comics, one of my favorite things with this is um, we man, it's such an amazing way of storytelling, right? Like comics are just this incredible way of storytelling. And through comics, we not only get to see these larger than life characters and we get to encounter these larger than life situations and villains throughout these runs and throughout these stories, we also deal with a lot of personal things in these comics and we also see what's going on in the world in comics. And I think a lot of people sleep on comic books because and let's face it, like we let's face it, getting into comics can kind of be, especially like if you're picking up monthly books, it can be very time consuming and it can also be, I mean, it can be, I don't want to say time consuming because I don't want to discredit the people that work on these books. And I don't want people to think that I'm discrediting the hardworking people on these books because let's face it, comic books take a lot of people to work on these things and the experiences are all incredible. Getting into comics themselves can be a little daunting because there's so much history there. Um there's so much there where years ago people would be like, okay, well, you can either get into DC books or Marvel books. And then occasionally you'd have like somebody preaching about Image or Dark Horse or IDW, like one of those. But it was mostly the focus was on the big two for the longest time, right? With Marvel and DC, and you had that rivalry between Marvel and DC, and you'd get like DC would poach like somebody like Jack Kirby went to DC for a little bit, um, you know like one of the creators of Superman went over to Marvel and helped create Captain America. So you had this competition back then, and nowadays, so there was brand loyalty there, right? There was a lot of brand loyalty there. And we saw this with the real push in comic book movies um over the last, let's say, 15, 15 to 20 years. As long as the MCU has been around, right? You had this big push where it came to brand loyalty. You were either a Marvel fan or a DCEU fan, or like you couldn't be both, right? Like, but you can, like you can. But it was one of those things where it was like you had to be loyal to that brand, right? Um, and it made it a little bit harder for people to for people to get into these things, because a lot of people felt like, oh, I'm a Marvel fan, but I'm seeing this DC movie. Now I feel like I'm betraying Marvel. No, no, you're not. You're interested in these characters. You're interested in these heroes. You have every right to check out Man of Steel or Batman v Superman or you know Iron Man 3 or what have you. So there was a lot of brand loyalty. And I was watching something the other day about the comic book industry. And Tyler, I would love to hear your I would love to hear your thoughts on this as well. Um but in the comic book industry now, there's still brand loyalty there, but it's not as strong as its loyalty to different creators, comic book creating teams, right? So I find it really interesting. Like you look at y- James Tynan. James Tynan, perfect example. He's done a lot with DC. He's done a lot with Boom Studios and all of this stuff, right? People pick up James Tynan's books not because it's from a certain publisher, but it's because it's James Tynan writing it. His Batman run, because he did Detective Comics and he did Batman during this Rebirth era and now the All In era, nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. He crushed it. Rise and Fall of the Batman from Detective Comics in the Rebirth era, one of my favorite stories of all time. James Tynan wrote the hell out of that. Since about 2018, 2019, he's been with Boom Studios writing Something is Killing the Children. That is 40 plus issues in now. And he just announced at Comic Con this weekend that Boom has contracted them to do at least 100 issues of Something is Killing the Children. So we've got plenty of time with that series. And here's the thing. People continue to pick up that book because of James's writing, and because of the artwork, right? Like another great example is, look at Joshua Williamson. Joshua Williamson is currently writing Superman for DC Comics, but he's also writing G.I. Joe for Image Skybound, right? Nailing it on both. Nailing it on both. He wrote Flash for the Rebirth era. Awesome. Awesome run. Fantastic. Loved it. Just absolutely loved his Flash run. So people pick up their books because they know that that writer can do amazing things, or they know that that artist can do amazing things. Like Joshua Williamson and Tom Riley on GI Joe right now, fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Nailbiter was, yes, Nailbiter, yeah, yeah, Nailbiter's another great one. And another thing that I'm seeing here, excuse me, my allergies are kind of acting up, and I don't know. But another thing that I'm seeing here is we're really seeing the rise in independent publishers and third party publishers, right? Boom makes Boom Studios sales are fantastic because they've got original IP, but then they also have media IP. Their Power Rangers run is awesome. Like their Power Rangers stuff right now is fantastic. Something is Killing the Children is great. I mean, their Dune stuff is fantastic too. Boom is knocking it out of the park, right? Image. Between just regular Image Comics, you have Ghost Machine Press, which is Jeff Johns, Jason Fabuk, Peter J. Tomasi, all of those creators creating stories, creating creator-owned stories within Image Comics in this imprint called Ghost Machine. They're knocking it out of the park. Image Skybound, where they have original stories by like Robert Kirkman and Daniel Warren Johnson and all of these other all these other creators. They're killing it with their independent IPs. Excuse me, but their Energon universe that has Void Rivals, Transformers, and GI Joe is, I mean, those books fly off the shelves because of the stories, because of the art, because of the writing, all of that. Those creative teams are selling those books, and those books are flying off the shelves. Image there's another example of Image, and that is the Massive Verse. Kyle Higgins with Radiant Black, Cowl, um, Rogue Sun, No One. You had the Dead Lucky, Radiant Pink, all of these. The Massive Verse. Those books fly off the shelves because of how good those stories are and because of the art and all of those things. So yeah, you still see some brand loyalty. However, it's all about the creative teams. And that's what's selling comics right now. Here's another thing. Let me look at I once pulled this up. Manga sales versus comic sales. Yeah. Manga sales versus comic sales. Here's the interesting thing here. Manga makes we the United States comic book market does more sales in manga than they do in regular comic books. Because manga is very, yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, Tyler. Yeah, absolutely. Because manga, here's the thing. You get in one volume of manga, you get like 6 or 7 chapters to that story. It's like having a graphic novel, right? You get those stories, you have complete stories throughout the entire run, right? So you have those. Not to mention, they're at an interesting price point of $10. Most of your manga is going to cost you $10. Now, something like a 3-in-1 or like a deluxe edition will cost you more, right? But manga sales are huge in the US. And one of the biggest publishers of manga in the US is Dark Horse Comics. Manga makes them money. And I don't want you to think that I'm discrediting comic book creators and comic book publishers because I'm not. They work just as hard as these mangakas. They do. They create these incredible stories just like these mangakas. But if you look at the market here in the United States, manga outsells comics. They do. Because because of accessibility, because of all of those things. Entry points, all of that. Comics have entry points and comics have some accessibility. Comics have entry points and accessibility for new readers as well, or returning readers. I'm not discrediting that and I'm not counting that out. But manga makes up for it says here manga holds a significant position within the comic book market, accounting for 41.9% of revenue share in 2024 alone. Nearly half of the sales for manga, nearly half of the comic book market was manga. They're dominating. They're dominating. It's more accessible. If you walk into a bookstore, if you walk into like your local Barnes and Noble, or if you walk into your local Books a Million or what have you, insert bookstore here, the manga section is huge, right? Manga section is absolutely huge because people buy it up. They do. I'm not saying that people don't buy comics or graphic novels, because they do. What you're starting to see is, when it comes to comic books, you're starting to see more people are you, you have people that are still going to their local shops, which is important. It's very, very important that you support your local comic shop. Seriously, support your local comic shop. But a lot of people also do it digitally through various apps and all of that stuff. That's how they get their books, that's how they read their books. And a lot of people will also just support their local comic shops. But even in your local comic shops, you're starting to see the manga section grow because of the accessibility, because of the affordability of manga as well. And here's something interesting. DC has actually jumped onto that formula. And I'm just going to talk about this real quick, and then I'm going to dive further into this, because there's a few more comic things that I want to talk about, and then we'll dive into most of the DC stuff. This compact line that DC has done, you get anywhere from like a 4-issue miniseries all the way up to like 12 to 14 issues of a series. This is about the size of a manga. Okay? This is about the size of a manga. $10. Just like the manga price. $10. And guess what? These fly off the shelves. These are flying off the shelves because they're accessible to newer readers, they're accessible to returning readers, and plus, you cannot beat a $10 price point for this. But we're going to dive into that here in a little bit. Going back to comics. This is one of my favorite things. Going back to comics, we had this weekend at Comic-Con, we had a brand new publisher launch at Comic-Con. And here we go. This is Ignition Press. They made their debut here at San Diego Comic-Con. And as you can see here, I'm going to show you some of these creators. Cullen Bunn, incredible writer, incredible comic book writer. Leah Williams, X Factor, all of these comics, fantastic. Tim Seeley, amazing writer and artist for comics. Letizia Catanici works on the Slaughterverse for Boom Studios with Something is Killing the Children and House of Slaughter. Stephanie Williams, another fantastic comic book writer. These publishers are getting this talent because they want these creators want to own their projects. These creators want to own these characters and tell the stories that they want to tell. And I'm not saying that they should be shifting from DC or Marvel, because if they are given the opportunities to write for DC and Marvel, absolutely take that opportunity. Take that opportunity and run with it. But also keep in mind, you've got so let's actually look at that. So we have Arcadia, which is a science fiction series. Deluge. Oh, God, Eric talked pretty one day. Deluge, which is a 5-issue limited series which deals with a horror story in a prison during a flood. Murder Podcast, horror story about supernatural podcast that may or may not influence people to kill people. No Place, science fiction. Voyeur, spy. Well, I wouldn't say spy thriller, but a thriller in which like a it's like a heist. It's like a heist. But they debuted this weekend at Comic Con, and they debuted to a lot of positive reactions. Here's another one that I'm going to show you. Here we go. This is Ghost Machine. And I'll show you this here in just a second. Ghost Machine, and I talked about this when I was talking about Image. Ghost Machine is a creator-owned imprint from Image Comics. Let's take a look at a few of the creators, and then I'll show you some of their series. Here we go. Jason Fabok, longtime comic book writer, longtime comic book artist, worked with DC, Marvel, what have you. Incredible artist. Gary Frank, another amazing artist from DC, Marvel, and such. Brian Hitch worked on The Authority with Warren Ellis and did countless other projects within DC and Marvel. Fantastic writer-artist. Has done a lot of independent books as well. Jeff Johns. This guy revitalized Green Lantern for DC, and he also revitalized Aquaman for DC, and he's an incredible writer. He also had an Avengers run. Rob Lee, one of the most iconic letterers in comics. His career spans the independent scene, DC, Marvel, what have you. Brad Meltzer, fantastic mystery and thriller writer. He wrote one of the most seminal DC events of all time with Identity Crisis. Peter J. Tomasi, another fantastic writer who wrote one of my favorite Green Lantern books, Green Lantern Corps. He is also responsible for, and I am so happy I have these. He's also responsible for Superman Rebirth Era. This is the omnibus by Peter J. Tomasi and Patrick Gleason. That's Superman and John Kent right there. Fantastic book. Absolutely fantastic book. And it's thick too. Absolutely. And he also wrote Batman and Robin for DC in the New 52. And I love this series so much. It's so good. They're both fantastic. Ghost Machine, absolutely killing it. Let me show you, yeah, there we go. Let me show you some of the stuff that they're working on real quick. Let's see here. There you go. Actually, let's go back. Okay, there we go. You have Sisterhood, you have Redcoats, you have the Rockefellers, which is Peter J. Tomasi. So you have Geiger, Hornsby and Halo, Devour, Hyde Street, Junkyard Joe, Redcoats, Rook Exodus, which is going to be coming back later this year. Sisterhood, which just came out. I'm really, actually, I still need to pick this one up. The Blizzard by Jeff Johns. And then you have the Rockefellers here by Peter J. Tomasi and Francis Manapul. Francis Manapul, amazing, amazing artist. His Flash stuff was just so good. But yeah, this is another imprint that people just absolutely can't get enough of. And it's because of these creative teams. It's because of these writers. It's because of these artists that people are flocking to these independent publishers. Or I shouldn't say independent publishers, these third-party publishers. Another one here. Let's see here. Yeah, here we have. So excited to talk about this. We have Boom Studios here. Berserk, done by Keanu Reeves and an incredible creative team here. We have Marion Heretic here, which is a brand new series that's coming out, written by Teenie Howard. Which Teenie Howard's Catwoman run was fantastic. This is a brand new series that it says Sister Marion is a witch hunter of the highest order, a mother superior, and a heretic guided by a goddess the church refuses to acknowledge. When the Holy Father brands her order blasphemers, Marion strikes a dark bargain to become their personal enforcer. As she delivers murderous judgment night after night in the city of Vespers, she can feel her soul fracture. But what else can she do with the lives of her sisters at stake? I think this is fantastic. This comes out October 1st of this year. So excited to see that. I mean, look at this. Like this art is beautiful. I mean, this art's absolutely gorgeous. Gory, but gorgeous. Can't wait. And then we get another book, like Animal Pound. Yeah, they did Big Trouble in Little China, Bill and Ted, Berserker. I called it Berserk. That's a manga. Um, just so many amazing books that are here. We had a Peter Pan book called The Last Boy, which I still need to read all of. But here, Boom Studios announces the Power Rangers Halloween special. This is Halloween special number 1, October 22nd. I mean, look, these covers are fantastic. I love the Rangers dressed up in Halloween costumes, and then they're in a graveyard, and they've got a pumpkin full of candy. That's awesome. Like I'm really excited for that. Um, Minor Arcana, which is Jeff Lemire's book, which is continuing ongoing. I love Jeff Lemire's writing. I still need to read this, but I mean, look, this is it's just beautiful, right? Like this art is beautiful. These stories are fantastic. I love comics. I absolutely love comics. I think it's like VR Troopers. We have VR Troopers now in Boom Studios. This spun off of Power Rangers. This is just awesome. Like the art's great. I love it. You can't get enough of it. So let's talk about DC Comics. We're going to talk a little bit about comics real quick, and then we're going to dive into Superman and the DCU. So I told you about the Absolute Universe, which is DC's version of the Ultimate Universe. Well, the Absolute Universe and the main DCU are going to be colliding this fall. We're getting an event called DCKO, which I am so excited for this thing. Scott Snyder and Joshua Williamson are going to be they're the ones that are leading the charge on this. Um, this is just it's a 5-issue limited series publishing through early 2026. And this is It says heroes will rise, legends will fall. It's time for a cosmic throwdown. DC today announced its next comic book event by co-architects Joshua Williamson and Scott Snyder. DCKO. This fall, the gloves come off as the greatest superheroes in the universe enter the arena in a thunderous tournament where the stakes are sky high and the cost of victory may be too steep to bear. Starting in October, this publishing event puts heroes to the ultimate test of strength, loyalty, and knockdown drag-out brawls. Which 32 fighters will enter the Tournament of Champions? Who will rise through the brackets and rival Darkseid against his ever-growing Omega powers? And what sinister secret lies at the absolute heart of Apocalypse? Get ready for the most fun you'll have all year at a death tournament. I'm so excited for this. They did. Let me see if I can find it. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, let me Google this real quick because DCKO bracket. There we go. There we go. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay. So far, this is the bracket so far. They're they are going to be announcing new characters here soon. But we have the likes of Captain Atom, we have Guy Gardner, Aquaman, Supergirl, Wonder Woman, Lobo, Swamp Thing, Cyborg, Red Hood, and Zatanna. This is awesome. Like do you know how excited for this thing I am? Or do you know how excited for this thing I am? This is going to be an epic series. Oh man, I can't wait to get this. I really can't wait to get this. I think it's just going to be awesome. This is just going to be so good. So good. We do have tie-ins coming in. So DCKO number 1 will release October 8th. And it is a 48-page kickoff issue. So it's a comic book, or how will the tournament work? So this is a comic book series that has this tournament in it. And this is going to be a 48-page issue. It's going to retail for $5.99. So in this tournament, so the main 5 issues are going to cover the tournament, with tie-ins also being part of the tournament as well. DCKO prelude and tie-in titles. So our prelude is going to be Justice League: The Omega Act, or prologue. I mean, is going to be Justice League: The Omega Act number 1. This is actually going to release the week before. Yeah, so this is going to release the week before. And it says a special oversized prologue to DC's biggest event of the year, written by Joshua Williamson, with art by Yasmin Putri. We'll have a main cover by Jorge Fornes. In this prelude to KO, a desperate time trapper races through time, chased by Darkseid's Legion, to offer the Justice League a final chance to rewrite fate. Time Trapper has witnessed how the future is already lost, and the only hope of survival lies within the Justice League. The Time Trapper has a plan to save the DCU, but it means making an impossible offer. Everything since DC's All-In special has been building to this moment. Justice League: The Omega Act number 1, so this is a one-shot, is on sale October 1st, 2025. 48 pages, retailing for $5.99. Okay. So then next up we'll have tie-in, which is going to be Titans number 28. This is going to retail October 15th. So this is going to spin off right out of issue number 1. It is going to be 32 pages, retail for $3.99 for the main cover and $4.99 for variant covers. Excuse me. Then the week after Titans, we get Superman number 31, written by Joshua Williamson. That is going to retail for $4.99 for the main cover, $5.99 for cardstock variants. And it looks like Booster Gold is going to be involved in that. Um, so that's going to be October 22nd. And then you also have Flash, written by Mark Waid. This is Flash number 26. This is going to go on sale on October 22nd as well, and it's going to retail for $3.99. Concluding the month and pushing the action towards November, towards DCKO number 2 in November. Justice League Unlimited number 12, written by Mark Waid, will release on the 22nd, retailing at $3.99. These are all of your October books. Yeah, so there's going to be bracket reveals leading up to this thing as well. Check your local comic shops, get in on this, because this is going to be huge. This is going to be an absolutely huge event. This sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. and it's going to be very accessible to newer readers, especially. Well, I mean, start reading the DC All In stuff, but that's going to set it up. So read DC All In, and then that'll set things up, and then you can go from there. But yes, this is awesome. I would also check out Justice League Unlimited as well as the ongoing Superman series, because those are going to help. Those are going to help. But if you just go into this thing, if you just go into this thing with DCKO #1, you should be fine. Um, that's actually that's what. So my first big DC event, when I came back to collecting comics, was Blackest Night. And I didn't really know like a lot of what was going on, but like they really made it accessible for people. Um, so definitely, you know, check it out. Support your local comic shops, please. Support your local comic shops. Okay, I want to share a few thoughts on Superman and the DCU before we go, because man, that movie, man, um, that movie was incredible. I I saw it last weekend. My wife and I kind of did a double feature. We went Saturday and saw um, Jurassic World Rebirth, and then we went and saw Superman the next day. And man, Superman was just it was incredible. Um, it fills you full of so much hope. Um, I had a smile on my face the entire time I was watching it. I cried a few times as well, just because of like how emotional that story was, how intense that story was. Um, yeah, I cried a few times. I laughed. I cheered. It was an incredible experience, and a lot of people were worried about this movie because of like how many characters were in this movie, and they felt like, oh, this is going to be like another BVS situation where Superman's not really going to be in this movie that much. No, Superman's the biggest part of this movie. However, what James Gunn does with the supporting characters, he gives a lot of people, he gives all of the major heroes time to shine, right? Every character gets their moment in this movie, and it's fantastic. Guy Gardner, my favorite Green Lantern, played by Nathan Fillion. I loved seeing him. I thought it was fantastic. I loved just everything that they did with him in that movie. Um, a- and I can't wait for more. I cannot wait for more Nathan Fillion. Hawk Girl, loved her. I thought she was utilized very well. Loved Mr. Terrific. Just absolutely loved him. And that scene, I don't want to spoil this movie. I don't, because there's still a lot of people that are seeing this movie for the first time, and I don't want to spoil it because it's such an amazing experience. But that scene with Mr. Terrific and that music in that scene, I love that song so much. And then of course, um, punk rocker, just awesome as well. I loved this movie. This is my favorite Superman movie. And I grew up watching the Reeves stuff. Because I was born in the late '80s, raised in the early '90s. So, if I wanted to watch Superman, I could watch like the old Fleischman cartoons on VHS, or watch the Reeves stuff on VHS and what have you. So, I mean, I loved Christopher Reeve as Superman, and I read some Superman comics when I was a kid, but it wasn't until I got older that I really just dove into the world of Superman, um, as a comic collector. And I gave away, like, when we moved, I donated a lot of my comics and stuff to charity and stuff like that, or to, like, Goodwill Savers, because, um, number 1, we needed to save the space, but number 2, I said to myself, "Well, I want some kid to see this book, and pick this book up and just be like, 'Oh my gosh, like, this looks really cool. Let me check this out.'" Um, because that's what it's about. Um, so, seeing this, I love the movie. James Gunn knocked it out of the park on the first try. So, this isn't Gunn's first DC movie. He did the Suicide Squad, which is fantastic, by the way. The Suicide Squad is absolutely fantastic. Um, but this isn't the true kickoff to the DCU. This is the kickoff to the DCU films. However, and I can't wait to show you this. However, the DCU kicked off another with another show, with a TV show on HBO Max. And that was a little show called Creature Commandos. This is an animated series. It's an adult animated series, by the way. And it is Rick Flag Sr. Yes, Creature Commandos was great. Rick Flag Sr. leading his own version of the Suicide Squad, but they're all monsters and creatures, called Task Force M. And as you can see here, you have Dr. Phosphorus. Um, as you can see here, you have Dr. Phosphorus, the Bride, Mina, Weasel, GI Robot, and of course, Rick Flag Sr. And which all of these actors that were in Creature Commandos, James Gunn has said they are going to be their live action counterparts as well. So we've already seen Rick Flag Sr. in Superman, played by Frank Grillo, who plays him here. We're going to see Alan Tudyk as Dr. Phosphorus. We're going to see Sean Gunn, who's already Maxwell Lord. We're going to see him more as Weasel and GI Robot. So very, very excited for this. And as you can see here, I mean, critics rated it at a 95. Um, a lot of the people that watched it rated it about a 79, 80. However, it's just it's such a great show. It's so good and so much fun, and I think it's a fantastic way to kick off the DCU. Now, when it comes to films in the DCU, Superman was the way to kick this off. Absolutely. I am also really excited. Going back to Guy Gardner real quick. Really excited for Lanterns, which is going to be the HBO Max. Yeah, the HBO Max series that's going to be next year, which is going to have Guy Gardner, John Stewart, and Hal Jordan as your Green Lanterns. I hope they bring Kyle into it. I hope Kyle Rayner comes into it, but if not, if we just get those three, and then like we see like Kilowog and Chip and like Tomar Ray and like a few of those others, like I'm cool with that. But I would also love to see Jessica Cruz, Simon Baz, and Joe Mullen come in as well. Because yeah, I mean I would love Simon and Jessica. I'd love to see them. Um, Simon Simon Baz is Simon Baz is a completely underrated Green Lantern. And what Peter J. Tomasi and Jeff Johns did with and Robert Venditti did with Simon in the New 52 was just awesome. Just absolutely awesome. So I am looking forward to that. Um, I would personally I would love for them to build this up where um because they've said like this gods and monsters thing. So we're in chapter 1 now, and called gods and monsters, and this is like a 10, maybe even further than that, year plan. What I would love to see though is like if we're going to do, because I have a feeling we're going to get like a couple of event films here and there sprinkled into this. What I would love is I heard there's going to be an Adventures of Green Lantern starring. I don't know. I don't know. Um, we'll see. We will see. But one of the things I would love to see is because we are going to get some event films. I don't think I don't think that they should show Darkseid just yet. I think Darkseid needs to be really further down the line, honestly. Um, because you need to build the Darkseid. You really need to build up to him. But one of the things that I would love to see is one of the best DC events that they've done in comics. I would love to see Blackest Night. I, as a Green Lantern fan, Blackest Night is my favorite DC event, and I love Crisis on Infinite Earths. I love Zero Hour. I love Final Crisis. Um, I'm not a big fan of Dark Knight's Metal or Death Metal, but I love Blackest Night. I love Flashpoint. Um, but Blackest Night would be so good. It would be just so good. And I would just love to see that. So I'd love to see Blackest Night because, but down the line, because like really establish these characters with lanterns. You can each season you can establish a different lantern core, so that you can really build up to Blackest Night. Because I have a feeling like with this first season, they're going to excuse me. They're going to. I have a feeling it's going to deal with Sinestro and the Sinestro core. That to me is just one of those things. Like they talk about this is going to be like a murder mystery that starts on Earth and then it's going to get like intergalactic. So I have a feeling we're either going to. I have a feeling we're going to see the death of one of the Guardians of Oa in this show, and then it's going to go broader until like the main villain is probably going to be Sinestro, um, and the Sinestro Corps. Like I would love to see them established by the end of that first season, um, and then still like pulling the strings and stuff like that, like in later seasons. I'd love for them to to establish the Blue Lantern Corps, Red Lantern Corps, Indigo Tribe, Star Sapphires, definitely Star Sapphires, because since you have Hal in the series, um, bring in Carol, bring in Carol Ferris, and have, deal with the Star Sapphire situation that way. Um, Orange Lantern Corps would be great. Like, I'd love to see Lara Fleas. Um, you know, um, I'd love to see Dexter, the Red Lantern Cat. Blackest Night deals with the rise of the Black Lanterns. It was like a zombie thing, but it wasn't a zombie thing. Um, but it's really really good. Blackest Night is really good. And then Brightest Day followed it up, and Brightest Day was fantastic. But I'm going to tell you this right now. There was a Brightest Day companion series um called Justice League Generation Lost, which dealt with the Justice League International and Maxwell Lord. And with the way the DCU is going right now, we're going to get Justice League International. So with that, I would love to see Booster Gold, Ted Cord Blue Beetle. I would love that. Yeah, but like Booster Gold, Ted Cord Blue Beetle, Captain Atom, I would love to see as well. Fire and Ice. Um, you can bring Guy into it and everything. So I would love to see that with Maxwell Lord. And then since Waller is canon to the DCU as well, I love that they're doing Argus. Like I love that they're going with Argus. However, I want Checkmate too. Like I want Checkmate. Um, and then another thing that you can do, and I'm getting ahead of myself here. I'm getting ahead of myself here. But like another thing that you can do, because we already know that Brave and the Bold, which is the Batman movie, is going to be about the Bat family, but more importantly, Damian and Bruce. I want Cadmus especially because of Superman. And I'm not going to get into that because I don't want to spoil anything. However, I do want Cadmus. Um, but what I was going to say with Brave and the Bold is I would love, like, since Bruce is going to be Batman, Damien's going to be Robin, right? Either have Dick as Nightwing or you have him as Agent 13 from the Grayson series. I'd love to see that. I would also love to see um I'd love to see Tim Drake as Red Robin. I'd love to see Barbara as Batgirl, and I would love to see Jason Todd as Red Hood. Already established Jason Todd as Red Hood. Because I think that would be I think that would be great because if you eventually did like a Red Hood and the Outlaws movie, you could like talk a little bit about the origin of Jason Todd. Not necessarily show it, but like you could talk about that origin. Um, but I think that that would be really interesting. However, I feel like if you're gonna do Dick Grayson, as much as I would love to see him as Agent 13, um, I would love to see him more as Nightwing because and that's another thing too. You can spin Nightwing off of that movie as either as like an HBO series or like its own movie and have him operating in Bloodhaven. Like you could easily do that, and I'd sit down for it. Um, when it comes to the DCU though, right now, Supergirl is next year, which is going to be based on Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, written by Tom King, which is a fantastic 8-issue miniseries if you have not read it. Definitely check that out. No spoilers of the Superman movie. Um, so we have Supergirl next year. We have Lanterns. Uh, I did read reports from Black Bat. Spoiler: I would love Batwing. I would really love Batwing, especially Luke Fox. Spoiler: maybe Azrael. Azrael would be interesting. Because you could kind of do Nightfall in a way. You could do Nightfall, or you could do like No Man's Land, but I have a feeling like they might save Azrael for the Reeves Batman movies, the Matt Reeves Batman movies, because they kind of just did No Man's Land in a way. They kind of did No Man's Land. But like you could do that, and then like you could set up Bane and do Nightfall for the Pattinson movies. And I know we had Bane in the Nolan trilogy. I get it. I get it. But like I did not like that Bane. I think like if you did like like if you went back to the drawing board and did Bane in this universe, I think it would work so much better. Um Spoiler would be interesting. Batwing I think would be interesting. Um Orphan Orphan would be cool. Um I'd love Bluebird, honestly. I would love to see Bluebird. Um, yeah. Anyway, so next year you have Lanterns, you have Supergirl. Um, I did read that they're fast tracking Wonder Woman next, um, which I'm okay with, especially because I did not like Wonder Woman 84 that much. I love the first Wonder Woman, 2017's Wonder Woman, but I was not a fan of 84. Um, so they're fast tracking Wonder Woman. They're also fast tracking Teen Titans, which I'm going to say this right now. I'm not going to spoil Superman, but um, I would love if it was. I would love if it was Tim Drake. Yeah, I want Tim Drake on that team. I want Starfire, Beast Boy, Raven, Cyborg. I want Kid Flash. I want Wally West on that team. I really do. I think that if you put Wally West on that team, it would be really cool. I would love to see Wally on that team. um, and then of course Brave and the Bold. There is still, from what I've heard, they're still working on the Authority. They're still working on Swamp Thing. Clayface is also one of the next ones that we're getting, and that's going to be a horror movie set in the DCU. um which I'm actually looking forward to, like, because with Clayface you can do that and then do Swamp Thing along with it. Because with Clayface, that's another way to bring in the Creature Commandos. And Swamp Thing's another way to bring in the Creature Commandos into live action. um So yeah, I would love to see those and see how that works. If Clayface is our big introduction to Gotham City and to Batman, that's interesting. That to me is very interesting. Um, People have asked me if I think that Battinson's Batman is going to be in the DCEU or the DCU. No, I don't think so. Because James Gunn has said like that is strictly Elseworlds. And they will say it's like DC Elseworlds. Like it will have an Elseworlds thing. It will have an Elseworlds logo, right? Because that's just because they're trying to start from scratch here. So I get it. Like Teen Titans Go is Elseworlds. The Battinson is Elseworlds. Joker, all that stuff. So, but if this is our first introduction to the DCU Batman, I'm curious to see how they do that. Another thing that I would love to see is JSA. I want Justice Society because um, I want to see Wildcat. I want to see Wesley Dodds Sandman. And you can set that in World War II because, and this isn't a spoiler, but because like one of the first things that they tell you in this movie is that metahumans have been around for a very long time. So at that point, give me a JSA World War II movie with Alan Scott Green Lantern, Jay Garrick Flash. I want Wildcat. I want Wesley Dodds Sandman. I want Hourman. I want all of them, right? Like give those to me because I think that that would be really cool. Um, so really exciting for the DCU. Peacemaker is coming out in August, which that's going to be the next foray into the DCU. As I stated earlier, this takes place 1 month after the events of Superman. So we're going to see what happens and how they incorporate everything. But I'm really excited to see where that goes. So for those of you that are asking or are saying, "Hey, I saw Superman, loved it, want to get more into comics, especially DC Comics. Where should I go? What should I do? All that stuff." Okay. I'm going to say this right now. I'm going to give you a few examples of some stuff, just off the top of my head, and then I'm going to show you some stuff as well. So, first off, you can either go to your local library and pick up graphic novels, or you can go to your local comic shop, pick up single issues, trade paperbacks, omnibuses, all that stuff, right? Support your local comic shops, support your local libraries. Seriously, do that um because those places are great places of conversation. Well, comic shops are great places of conversation, like when it comes to like comic book discussions and all that stuff, talking about these movies, talking about these runs, all of those things, right? So support your local library and your local comic shops. So if you're looking to get into Superman, I'm going to give you a couple of examples. um yeah. So first off, this inspired uh the Superman movie that we just got. A lot of this inspired this. And that's All Star Superman by Grant Morrison and Frank Quietly. This is the DC Compact Edition, and I talked about this earlier. These are roughly the size of a paperback and a manga, and these retail for $10. These retail for $10 and they are fantastic. I mean, like look at that art. Like seriously. Um like I don't want to give too much away because this is such a great series. But this is Superman to give you the pitch of this. Um this is Superman coming to grips with his humanity. And that's all I'm going to say because I don't want to spoil this. This story is just absolutely fantastic. Grant Morrison is one of the most prolific comic book writers of all time. Their work is it's beautiful. What Grant Morrison has done throughout their career is just amazing. So definitely check this out. This is All Star Superman. Get the compact edition, seriously, or get it in the absolute hardcover, which is about $100. But this is $10 DC compact, and this collects all 12 issues. This collects all 12 issues of All Star Superman. There is also Superman Birthright, um, written by Mark Waid, which is fantastic. It's kind of a reimagining of the origin of Superman. I brought this out earlier when I was talking about Peter J. Tomasi, but I got to do this again. This is Superman Rebirth Era by Peter J. Tomasi, and Patrick Gleason. This is the omnibus. This it's so good. I actually got Peter J. Tomasi to sign this at Ocean City Comic Con. Um, but this is I love it so much. I love this series absolutely so much. I mean, and I'm almost to the end. Like I'm so close to the end of this, but I don't want it to end because of just how good this is. Um, so yeah, check out Superman by Peter J. Tomasi and Patrick Gleason. It's there was a story I just read last night. Hello, hello. There we go. Sorry. Um, Up and Away is really good, and Smashes the Coin is really good. But this here is fantastic. There's a story in this I read last night where Lois, Clark, and John um go on a road trip in an RV, and it's Fourth of July weekend, and they go on this road trip, and um they are going throughout the country seeing like historical sites and all of these things, right? And it's just the stuff they get into in that story, there's like no action in it at all. There's really no action in it. um it's just a really simple story, but it's beautiful. I mean, it made me tear up reading it because it was just so good and so wholesome. So, yes, Superman by Tomasi and Gleason. Check this out. Um, I would also say one more for Superman, besides Birthright and All Star. This is Mark Waid's Kingdom Come with art by Alex Ross. This is fantastic. It's a great Superman story. Um, it is really hard to explain what it's about, but it is awesome. It's really really good. So Kingdom Come. Now, if you are looking for Batman, uh, I've got I've got a few recommendations for you all. Um, yeah, just gonna put you there for right now. So the first off, I talked about this earlier, but I need to talk about this again. Batman and Robin by Peter J. Tomasi and Patrick Gleason. This is from the New 52. This was all 40 issues or 41 issues of this. And it's fantastic. Like it's so good. The art is fantastic. The story is great. This is Bruce Wayne and Damian Wayne. Um, so yeah, definitely check this out. Um, there is there's a story in here that you kind of need to read Batman Incorporated for. But other than that, this is. But you also don't really need to read that you do, but you don't. But it makes more sense if you do read it. But this is fantastic. This is such a great run. Um, let's see here. Up next, we have there it is. Yeah. Yeah. So up next, I'm going to give you these two because these two are just as fantastic as well. I highly recommend Batman Hush. This is Batman going up against a serial killer. This is Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee. The story's fantastic. Um, the art is, I mean, just, I mean, the art from Jim Lee is just amazing. So definitely check this out, Batman Hush. I would also say Batman: The Long Halloween, which is getting a DC compact in October. So if you want to wait until it comes out in compact, definitely do that. But it's awesome. Batman: The Long Halloween is fantastic. And then another one, Court of Owls. This was from the New 52. This is Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. Just oh man, it is it's brilliant, just absolutely brilliant. I mean, this is some of the art here. Just so good, just absolutely just so good. I would also suggest if you're looking to stay in the world of Batman, um, there's Harley Quinn and the Gotham City Sirens, which is a lot of fun. Paul Dini wrote this, which Paul Dini was huge in the Batman the Animated Series, also helped create Harley Quinn. And then this one is one of my favorites because of I love these writers and artists, and that is Catwoman, Trail of the Catwoman. This is Darwin Cook and Ed Brubaker. Um, Darwin Cook was an amazing comic book writer and artist, and I actually got the chance to meet him before he passed away. And just you want to talk about a talent, man? That guy had some talent. Like that guy had some talent. And it's just when he passed, I was devastated. I was absolutely devastated. Um, I'm just going to show you a few more of these. So James Gunn did announce that The Authority is being done as well. This was a Wildstorm comic. Wildstorm was a DC imprint for a long time. Beautiful art and everything though. Love that. No, I'm gonna. Wonder Woman. So they did Earth One. And then there's also they're doing the first like one or two story arcs from the New 52 Wonder Woman as a compact as well, and that comes out very soon. If you are looking for one of now, this isn't like any current superheroes, but I love like when people ask me like what they should read to get into DC and everything. Um, Watchmen. This story is, oh boy, howdy. This story is done by Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons, and it is fantastic. It is dark, it is mature, but it is so good. I love Watchmen. um, this one I love as well. This is Static season 1. So this is from the Milestone Returns initiative that Milestone Media and DC did. Milestone was an imprint of DC in the 90s, and then they came back just a few years ago. And then this is Static Shock, a reimagining of Static Shock. And like I love this. I love this cover art so much. This is fantastic. Static season 1 is absolutely fantastic. I hope that they do Icon and Rocket season 1, Hardware season 1, and Blood Syndicate season 1 as well, because this story is fantastic, and this compact is amazing. Um and then I have one more compact to do. And then ask at your local comic shop and all those other things, like of like characters and stories that you want to get into, or that they recommend, especially like in DC. This is I keep talking about how I'm a Green Lantern fan. I love this story so much, and I'm going to show you this story. This was from DC's Young Animal imprint, and this is N.K. Jemison's Far Sector. This deals with another Earth Green Lantern that goes off to the furthest sector of space that is under the control of the Green Lantern Corps and the Guardians of the Universe. And there she uncovers a mystery, a murder mystery, and she has to solve it, and while also trying to protect these people. This is 12 issues, and this is just awesome. Like I love this series so much. Um, Far Sector is one of my favorites. Um, Jeez, yeah, Far Sector is one of my absolute favorites. I love this. I just love this book. So definitely check this out. The DC Compact line, like I said, they're fantastic because they're at great price points. They are at fantastic price points at $10. Like, you really can't beat that price point. Also, if you are looking to read comics digitally, I would also suggest DC Universe Infinite, which is their own comic reader that you can read on Android devices. You can read through web browsers. You can read on iOS devices as well. And it like the library is incredible with that. So um, yeah, comics. I talked about this earlier, and I continue to talk about this, but comics are such an important part of storytelling, and a lot of people overlook these things. Before we go, I saw a post on social media, and it was from a comic book store that was, and it was talking about how Marvel's made like these billion-dollar movies, like these movies that have grossed billions and billions of dollars, right? And hardly anybody would come into those comic book shops like after those movies. But yet, Superman hits, right? People are flocking to comic shops to pick up Superman books and DC books. Like, comic shops are seeing an uptick in traffic because of this movie and because of the word of mouth and because of the comic book fans saying, "Hey, you love that movie? Check this out." Like, seriously, check this out. It's a great time to be a comic book fan. It really is. It's a great time to be a DC fan. My Green Lantern heart is full. Um, yeah. So that's that's what I got. It was a lot tonight. I'm gonna try to do more. We're gonna try to start doing some more live shows here coming up. And I want to do some more comic related content. Is that something that you all would be interested in? Let me know in Discord and on social media and everything. Because if that is something that you're interested in, I would love to cover it. I love comics and I would love to cover them. So um, yeah, that's all I got. Um, yeah, it's great to be back. I will keep you all posted on when our next live show is and when we're going to drop podcasts and stuff like that. But that's going to be it for me. I'm going to hop into Discord here soonish. I need to like rest my voice for a few minutes and then also say goodnight to the wife. But yeah, that's it for me. So I will see you all very very soon in our Discord, and we will talk to you all later. Have a good one.